just like that, we are back. Thursday, June 11th, 2026. Once again, another Thursday night stream. Good to see you. I'm Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith, whichever one you want to call me. I don't care. It's all about the charts here. Why waste time? Let's get off into it, man. I got Bitcoin. I want to talk about SpaceX, XRP, stocks falling. What are we going to do? What should we say? Well, I'll tell you what. First thing first, let's stick to it. Welcome to Charts After Dark. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. It's free. Hit the notification bell while you're there. Subscribe. It's free to subscribe. The more of you who subscribe, the more of you see the message, send the message out worldwide. But you can do this on your own. You can learn how to chart. You can take the power into your own hands, make your own decisions. You don't need anybody else telling you what to do. It's what I've done. And man, has the world been way more lucrative for me when I took the power in my own hands, started doing my own thing. Without further ado, chart time. I'm gonna grab something to drink. Ooh-wee. Oh, let me get me a drink. Ooh-wee. That was stupid.
Come on, man.
I don't know. I heard T-Pain on the. So how about I got my truck programmed to automatically start playing music when I get in, and for whatever reason it turned on T-Pain Buy You a Drink, and I was like, all right, well, we're gonna listen to it, and it's in my head. I'm also an idiot, everybody. If you've never tuned in, welcome to the Idiot Show. I'm never going to come on here and give you hopium. I'm never going to come on here and lie and sell you a dream. I'm always going to shoot straight with you, even if it's the bad message, even if it's what you don't want to hear, even if it's stuff is going down. Right? It's the truth and always the truth. And if you can't handle it, brother, go find you a hopium channel that will tell you what you want to hear rather than what you need to hear. Bitcoin on the chart right as we start here. So, interesting developments over the last couple of days. She continues to rattle around here in the reversal zone that I drew, kind of bouncing back and forth. Can't figure out what it wants to do just yet. We have had a couple days of volume here, but I want to warn you, we haven't had a hardcore breakout yet. And what I mean by that is if we throw the 821 EMA up there, as you'll see, we're still rejecting that 8 EMA. We haven't gotten through it yet. Each time it tries to, sort of just gets poked back down. Came really, really close today, closed right at the 8 EMA. Some would say over, some would say under. I'm just going to say right on it. So we're going to see over the next day or so if it can hang on to this 8 EMA, which would be our first sign, or actually our second sign, that things may be turning positive short term. Just like the thumbnail said, there could be some potential relief in here. And if that potential relief happens, well, we could see things mellow out here for a little while anyway, instead of being so darn gloomy as it was. Here's our RSI. You are starting to come off of the extremely oversold conditions that we had. We're back up in the nominal trading now, which is good. That makes me think it's going to trend up more toward the midline here, which is about 50 on the RSI. We're at 32 at the moment. Obviously, you can translate that into the charts would go up some more. Your MACD is just about to converge and cross. You have steadily, over the last several days, started to taper off on sell volume. Little by little, it's starting to lose that, which is good. It obviously has not flipped green yet, and we haven't had that good positive cross yet. And even if we get those two things, you're still pinned underneath the midline right here, and you want to be over that midline, not under it. All right? So better, getting better, still needs work. Ichimoku cloud, this is the first time it's been over the conversion line since it started its fall in May. All that negative pushed it way down, and it has since, like I said, jumped over the conversion line, but you're still 4 out of 4 negative here. What do I mean by that? Well, there's 4 points. Excuse me. So as far as the Ichimoku cloud goes, quick update. I'm going to try to do this in less than 1 minute. There's 4 points for the Ichimoku cloud. We have our Ichimoku cloud in identity right here. It's in red right now. That needs to be in green on the end, all the way over here on the end. It's in red. That's our first negative. All right. Blue line and red line that you see right here, that's the conversion. And the baseline. The blue needs to be over the red. And as you see, a red is over the blue. That's another no. Lag line in the back right here, the white line, is the candles in line form moved back. 27 spaces. What we want to see this line do is get across the candles or over them or over the cloud. It is neither of the two. And last but not least, the price. Is the price under the cloud or is it over the cloud? Well, it's still very clearly under the cloud. That's going to be a 4 on that one. That's 4 out of 4 no.
Bruh.
It's a no-go here. So we need to see some improvement, right? It's fell so far off. The Ichimoku cloud is sort of the slow indicator. I get it. It's also a little bit more safe. For that reason, it's a no for now. But I must admit that the last few days have tried to help it improve. Need to see this volume maintained. And if it does, could see some positive moves, at least back toward that 70,000 range. Now, I'm not saying it's actually going to break that 70,000 range, but it could start working its way back up there. It's trying, just hasn't quite crossed the threshold yet. Gosh, keep coughing. It's annoying. What's up, Kelly? Miss Kelly Slade, how you doing? Good to see you on here. We go XRP up here in a memento. I got it up at the top. You see it? You can't see it up here, but I got it at the top. It's also underneath S3, 1, 2, and 3 right there that you see. It's underneath all of those. It needs to be over those. Those are support lines. We are under them. Es no bueno. Flipping her to the weekly. This is a positive sign. A doji at the bottom of a big drop-off could typically mean that you're trying to reverse back in the other direction. Problem is you made a new low. That here was our previous low, and this is where we're at now. That's a, say it with me, folks, lower low. That needs to be a higher low. It didn't make a higher low. It made a lower low. So in turn, this immediately gives me the thought that the next low will be a lower high. Just like the last several have been. High, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then that last stab down to come sometime as we tail off and taper toward the end of the year. That's my mark right here. Bottom will be the 2 fib, which is that big fib you see right here. These are fib time zones. It sort of marks the entire length of the bull run and the reversal points along the way. And it's pretty darn accurate. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn accurate. You can see how well it did timing the top with the red lines here. And then we'll be able to time the bottom the same way. Also, we had that 2 fib right there to kind of do it for us. And it sort of lines up with the November area that we've kind of expected anyway. We're in June. As you see, we're not too far away, but it is going to take a little bit more time to get there. This isn't going to happen in a hurry. There's a lot of traffic in the way. You are still on the weekly 200 moving average. And if it can hold that, that further leads me to believe that there'll be some sort of a relief bounce in here. If only 70, that you get what you get, and then you roll back down. The question is, how far under this 200 do we go? Do we do something like this and take one hardcore stab down? Or do we slowly work down and then back test it and take a stab down? Well, I don't know. One of those two is my prediction. Hard to say exactly what the bottom number will be, but we can pull fibs on it in a regular fib set from the top of from the bottom of the bear market to the top of the bull market, right? Swing low to swing high. You can also see right here in the last bull run, right at the 2 fib, that's where the bottom came in, right there in November on the previous bull run's 2 fib. Well, this is this bull run's 2 fib, and that marks similar territory. So, I believe 15.5 is our bottom. That's the bottom there, and then we pull to the top here. Sort of encapsulate the entire bull run from the bottom to the top. Started at the bottom, now we're at the top. That's not the way the song goes, but whatever. Anyway, you see we've played with this 236 fib for quite a while here, failed it. Your next level is the 382 fib, which is down there at 56,000 and some change. Now, that could happen really soon, and if it does, I would expect to bounce back into resistance makes the most sense before another stab down. If that happens, that opens up 43 to 45. That would be brutal. All right, that's not a guarantee. That's just an option if it goes farther than that. I'm hopeful that it holds the 382 fib here. Doesn't mean it's gonna. But it has been a little bit of a slower, steadier decline this time instead of the very choppy down that it had in the previous bear markets. The last couple weeks has sort of exacerbated everyone's feelings towards it. That doesn't really change anything for me. I think it's still kind of holding on to its line and doing its thing here. Your MACD on the weekly, It's about to cross over downward. Your MACD on the weekly, your RSI on the weekly, you're working on downward. Again, we might get a double oversold or close to double oversold situation here before we taper off and finish this bear market. And to give you a sequence of that, here's the previous bear market. It's a lot more aggressive moves down for the first two drops. And you see these two drops have been a little bit more strategic. So you had your first drop, your second drop, third drop was a little slow, and then that last push really hard at the end of the year. So your first drop, the second drop, here's your third drop, a little strategic. Is it going to give us one more push? Well, that just makes the most sense to me. And if we go back even farther, gosh, man. I erased the 2 fib on this one, but that's also where it came through. Similar price action for Bitcoin back in the day. First drop, second drop, third drop, kind of played around, and then your last push down. So we've only had 3 drops so far. You've had 4 in pretty much every bear market ever for Bitcoin. Could it be a little different? Absolutely it could. So don't hold it to me. Don't say that I'm the one that's right. Go look for yourself and tell me what you think. If you think that's what's going to happen, hey man, drop a comment and let me know in the comments here and tell me what you think. I'm fine with it either way. It's however it wants to shake out is cool with me. I gotta wait no matter what. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna hold off until October to December here. Try to find my spots. Be more careful than the average person. Let's go on here. Let's move on to XRP. So had a question come up, and I even highlighted it here. Shout out to the FIFA brothers, the FIFA Broders. Pretty cool name. What do you think long term for XRP? Any price prediction? Yes, indeed. Shout out to you asking questions. I appreciate it. We're happy to highlight it here when people ask good questions, man. Somebody just noticed YouTube's a little froze. Hold on. Drop that comment. There we go. So if I look way back here and I follow previous bear markets and what XRP has done in the past, it's done 786 retraces and 618 retraces. Okay. Here is we don't have a bottom starting point for this one back here in the very beginning, other than the initial push into the bear market that lasted a very long time, an extended bear market, which broke the trend line, eventually cracked north, and then made its normal bull market like it always does, right? So what we do have is the data showing where it came back to back here. We can pull from the bottom to the top, just like we did on the others. Pulling all the way over to the top, the bottom to the top. Now, I didn't grab this ridiculous wick because it's not on every exchange, but the other ones are. So what you'll see is XRP did a 50 fib retrace, and if I flip it to linear mode, it was well below an 886 retrace. So it's really hard to look at this and go, oh yeah, that definitely happened. That's the way it worked out. If I pull down to this bottom wick, it doesn't really stop at the 50 fib, which kind of gives me credence that wick is to be kind of disregarded. And that's why I did so. So that's a 50 fib retrace on that one. All right. We got the same data coming back over here. I'll pull down here till I bought at 11 cents, so I know that it actually went down to 11 cents. So I'm going to pull down to 11 cents and then pull back up here. Sort of the same situation. To the top, I think she hit 144 or something like that. So similar story, down to the 618 fib long term on a retrace. Perfect. And here we are now. So a 50 fib, a 618 retrace. And if you go down to the daily, you'll see 786s and stuff like that. Pulling fibs on this one now, if I'm all the way from our bottom here down to the 39 cent level, which is about where we went, to the top here at about 365-ish. We've already fallen under the 50 fib here. So I'm to think that we go down to the 618 level. I just showed you where it's already hit the 50 and the 618 back in the past. We're underneath the 50 fib now and seem to be giving it a sort of a back test. I think this probably got one more push down in it here. And if it does, 92 to 75 makes the most sense to me, which is between $1 and 75 cents. If it goes down there, that's the stab of a lifetime, and it likely bottoms out there for the year. Now, that doesn't mean it's bottomed out permanently. It very well could ride sideways for an extended period of time and make another new low. And I actually kind of expect that to happen as things flutter out and come down here before it actually stops itself. Before having, this is that green line, you usually have a drop before or directly after having for XRP where it sort of finds a bottom, sort of goes into a sell-off, hits an oversold situation, and then has its pop-off moment. All right, so if I pull from the top and down to the bottom, and I assume, which is a bad idea, I know, I assume that we go down to $1. I'll pull this all the way over here so we can see it, and there's plenty of room to look at it. Stop at $1. As you see right here, I pulled this from the top to the bottom, and I stopped at $1, assuming that $1 is our stopping point. If it is, the important levels here to watch would be the Sniper's Alley level between $2.79 and $3.18, so around $3 and some change, which is the previous all-time high. Okay, the problem is you have resistance through here. It's going to hold things up. All right, it ain't going to get through that easy. And you also have a resistance zone that we're making right now. Both these resistance zones will hold us up and will slow us down on the way to the top. So let's highlight those resistance zones, shall we? I like to do these in red because red for resistance. It's pretty simple. Yeah, keep it simple for yourself when you're doing charts. Don't overcomplicate things. It's one of the big problems people have is they go down the rabbit hole of making the most complicated chart reasoning possible. And it's usually a bad idea. It's usually probably to kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid, right? We also have resistance down here. This one's lighter. And the way you know whether resistance level is lighter or heavier is based on how many candles it's made up of. This is a ton of candles. This is only a few candles. So it's easier to get through this resistance. So as I've kind of drawn it out here, you can see what I sort of expect to happen. After you go down here and hit your base and find your floor, I move back up here toward the trend line, toward resistance, which is where all this resistance is through here. I run back up to resistance, a fail, using this area as support, back down and holding the line here. If you can get over the trend line, you'll find your spot here for a move up roughly between May and September of 2028. And that's when we get our move up. Now, again, that $3 range is what I'm eyeing first. And from there, we'll see. Can we get through this $3 range cleanly? Because if you can get through that $3 range cleanly, that opens you up for $5 through $8, which is honestly what I expected to do last bull run, but it didn't do it. Now, I want to warn you, that does not come with a guarantee. We've seen this multiple times, where things have let you down and not gone as far as you wanted to see them go. And the proof is, let's do XRP here from the last bull run. She only went to the 1414. It never made it to the 1618 fib. It blew right through Sniper's Alley, which is what I want to see it do this time, right? If it can cut through Sniper's Alley, 1272, it slowed down. Then it ran up to the 1414. It never got to the 1618 up there. It's very possible that diminishing gains happens again, and you only get to the 1272 at $5.25 or $6. So between 5 and 8 is the most optimistic thought process I can come up with right now. I'm leaning more toward the $3 range of this thing getting up there and hanging on and holding on. Way more likely, in my opinion, than high numbers. It's so easy to fall for the prey of the high number game because you see it and it gets you emotional and invokes emotional reactions. I don't do that. I keep it real with you. So I'm watching first, and the last thing I'll give you this is my chart on the go zones and stuff. I've sort of marked this out. It's the same chart I just showed you, with a different sort of drawing and layout scheme. Same idea though, there's your halving point. We can pull this fib the same way from the top. And this time, let's assume we go down to 90 cents. Well, that changes our upper level figures a little bit. I'll pull this all the way till the end over here. And you'll notice that show is over usually comes after one more push. Right here's one more push. So show is over. Usually comes after that. I'll call it. Let's do 90. Let's do 90 cents instead of $1. Fair enough. That changes our upper levels from still 5 to 8, but it's 530, 650, and 870 now, more close to 9. The level that's still important would be that $3 range because that's still Sniper's Alley. So no matter whether you go down to $1 or 90 cents, the $3 range is the most contentious point. Nonetheless, I'm telling you, this level is going to get hit over here, this buy zone, after having right in here in support and then the go time box after that. It's happened before. Buy zone, go time. Buy zone, go time. You see that's directly after having. And then after having, you break trend and hit the go time box. Same thing down here. Buy zone, break trend, go time. Buy zone, break trend, go time. Buy zone, break trend, go time. It was a little sloppier last time. But if I draw this trend a little different and I draw it like this, it did actually break and go. And that's probably the more accurate way to draw it. So I try to count every wick that I can. It got a little sloppy. Nothing's perfect. I was trying to get close here. So there's my levels. That's what I expect. I'm not changing my thoughts on it. We'll see. But I trust the charts way more than I trust any hopium. That's all there is to it. Hey, what's up, Fujo? What's up? I am Bino. Good to see you, brother. He said, I think we tapped the high 40s. That's all right. I get that. I think there's a full-on possibility. He says, XRP a no for me. Thoughts on SpaceX IPO. Good thing you ask, because SpaceX is what we're talking about next. What's up? Hey, what's up, Cleve? He said, you just don't know, bro. I know, right?
Bruh.
I get it. So let's jump over real quick and talk about SpaceX. So I've actually got the SpaceX perpetuals chart pulled up here from KuCoin. They delisted it and relisted it after they changed the amount of shares. Basically, they're mimicking the amount of shares available that are out there. I've been watching this closely, and it's only got a few daily candles. It's a little silly to try to do this on a daily chart, but I want to start there and then work my way down, okay? Because I don't have enough data for the weekly. There's your weekly, right? It's really tough to call that with a couple candles. So, interestingly enough, we were in a downtrend. I've been posting about this over on X, but SpaceX did indeed crack through that short-term trend right there, and it closed over the daily 8 EMA daily chart. So let me work my way down here. Let's do 12 hours. So in 12 hours, you're working on your second close. See that? Working on your second close over the 8 EMA, which would be what you need for a buy signal. Interesting. Now you're in the wait a minute zone between the 8 and the 21 EMA. So we've kind of split it up. But again, you can see that clear trend break on the low time frame, about down to 4 hours. Hey, not only have you broken the 821 EMA, but you have an 821 EMA cross, and you're over the 50 moving average, working on the second point there. Very nice. So the lower time frames have started to flip sort of bullish here on the evening before the stock launches. All right, so this comes out tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. There's been a lot of in the nose speculation that volume will be higher than any volume ever for any IPO. They're already expecting over $2 trillion, and as Elon is the majority shareholder, this will make him a trillionaire tomorrow. He'll be the world's first trillionaire.
Damn.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Shit is crazy. So, I'm going to try to chart this every single day that this stock exists. Tomorrow's the first day. I've always said that it'd be really interesting to be able to go back and chart what I had done on Google and Amazon and stuff when they first came out. Well, SpaceX drops tomorrow, so I'm going to start right off the bat and see what happens. Short-term breaks like this are very interesting to me. I don't have any fibs to really pull from because this thing was delisted and relisted. So there's no sense in using Fibonacci retracement just yet. I don't have enough data to do that. It's a really risky thing to do this on launches. But most people who got in the IPO got in the 130s or lower. And right now the price pre-market is 171. All right. So you're already heavy in the profits. How much profits will be taken tomorrow? Bro, roll the dice. Nobody knows that. Now, in the hopes of becoming a millionaire, most people won't sell. That's the way the stock world works. I think if you hold, you'll always win. And if it's true, if you hold a certain thing, Now, are they buying and holding this certain thing? Very well may see that. Another interesting point here is, like I saw posts about it, a mechanic, the cafeteria workers, and multiple other people are all expected to be millionaires from this. So do you think they're going to take their money and walk? Or do you think they'll stick it out and try to become multi-millionaires? Well, I'll tell you from experience, when you get the bug of making a lot of money, you don't want to stop. Everybody always says, if I had $1 million, that'd be plenty enough. You're lying, and you're wrong.
Wrong.
You're not even close to correct. If you had $1 million, you'd want 2 million. If you had 2 million, you'd want 4 million. If you had 4 million, you'd want 8. If you had 100 million, we'd want 100 billion. That's the way literally every single person who does it ends up like that. All right. And you guys say, no, that's not true. My favorite athlete, he took less money, but that was after he took more money before that. He kind of took what he could get as well. Do you think he would have done it for 100,000 or 100 million? Obviously 100 million. So I expect a lot of greed to be flexed tomorrow. The bigger question for me is, will this thing retrace? And if it does retrace, how low will it get down in its retrace? Because I would like to get in at a low price point. I'm not trying to buy this thing if it's going to come in way high. I think that's a silly move. That being said, it could keep going, and that's cool with me. I didn't get in the IPO. I didn't have enough money. And I didn't want to take any money out of my savings and send it over. I spent a long time building that nest egg, and I don't want to mess with it. So there's my take on SpaceX for the time being. What's up, Cody Kensel? Good to see you, brother. I'm curious on it. I'm going to be watching with starry eyes to see if this thing takes off and goes and does what everybody hopes it does. I mean, I really hope it does do well for people. It's time that the normal guy got to make some money, and that may change a lot of opinions on Elon. I don't think it will, but it may. Man's going to be a trillionaire, so eyes on it. A trillionaire, fellas. Just think about that for a second. A trillionaire. A trillionaire. That's crazy. All right, we'll wrap this up with a couple charts here. We'll just go over some stuff. Million and emotional word. Half a nice house. Bro, that's crazy, isn't it? I saw, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, Miss Kelly Slay. We'll do that real fast. So here's Say real quick. SEI coin. She's still in the gutter. Making a new low under the 8 EMA. Weekly looks absolutely horrible. Made a new low. It is oversold everywhere, so I would expect some sort of a relief bounce. But for most altcoins, the bear market has months to go. I would be very careful. I saw the median the median house value in the U.S. is up near $1 million now, and that's insane. And I also saw an interesting stat after listening to an economist totally lie to everyone and say that most people who live paycheck to paycheck aren't homeowners. That's full-on incorrect. 44 million people in America who are homeowners live paycheck to paycheck. That equates to about $4.4 trillion worth of economic impact every single year, with a growing number at that. That tells you how stupid economists are. But hey, what do I know? I'm just an idiot on the computer, but I can do some simple math in Google real quick, and it's not that hard. S&P 500, after a really rough couple days, did bounce back to that 821. Just as I said we might see this do on the last live stream. So far, be careful. This is a bearish back test of the 821 EMA. We very well may be in a sell in May and go away situation. It was more like sell at the beginning of June and then go away, but hey, whatever. NASDAQ, similar. She already popped back over the 821 EMA, though. Very, very nice. Like to see that. Can it hold? Well, tomorrow is going to be wild. And it's like a really, really crazy day to try to make some silly decisions. But I like the fact that it jumped the 821 EMA. Didn't quite hit the 50, but it may after this thing sort of slowly reprints. The Dow, same story. She didn't fall off as much, and it very well may snap back over this 821 EMA and try to make some new highs. Very interesting eyeballs on it. Here's where it gets crazy. SMH, VanEck Semiconductors, after this screaming hot move and what looked like it was going to slow down, in one day erases 3 days worth of losses back over the 8 EMA again. Looking like it wants to run hot once again, which is really insane. It did go down to the 50 range on the RSI. Your Ichimoku cloud, I believe you've been riding high as you can over that. That's 4 out of 4 in the green, where you saw 4 out of 4 in the red for Bitcoin earlier. Impressive. Apple, I took my profits, got my money, and walked away here. I'm to the expectation, I'm sorry, that the 821 EMA is going to hold this up a little bit here and really sort of dig into that 50 moving average after this thing ran super hot. Okay. Everything's still sort of overbought. It did slow down some, but look at that situation it ran into. Yeah. And look at that weekly MACD. That needs to slow down a little bit, which makes me think I need to give this a little bit of time. I got my money and walked away. I think it may slow down some more. It's just a little bit of a lull right now. It's a little bit of a putting you to sleep before it hooks you in. Tesla snapped back after a couple really ugly days, back into the 50 and 100 moving average. Sort of stuck in resistance though. I think this may idle a bit, especially if we see people take profits from SpaceX and roll that back over into Tesla to get more Tesla stock. We'll see. But for now, she's sort of pinned. Be interesting to see what it does in the morning. Amazon. So indeed, she did go back to the 50 fib and hit the 100 moving average. We have an entire section for everything I'm speaking of right now, by the way. Over in our Discord, we have a whole separate section just for this, for everybody to come and watch, hang out, see things. I've been talking about Amazon slowing down back to the 50 fib and that 100 moving average. And sure enough, that's what it did. Check the top of it. Let's see if it bounces from there. I would expect it does have some relief in here. You know what I'm saying? It's falling a pretty good hard way right through the 50 moving average like that. I think it does need to catch a little wind. Google, you slowed down enough to get underneath the 50 moving average. You did tap the 382 fib, which is what I kind of expect on the weekly chart for Bitcoin that I was showing you earlier. This is a daily example right here. But like Amazon, stuck. So I think she's probably going to come down here and give us some more relief back toward the 330-ish range. 350 right now has looked pretty strong though. Microsoft. Boy, she had a not so good day. She didn't bounce at all. She's actually working towards the low. Failed back to the 236 fib. We can erase that now and pull a new fib on it. We don't need any moving averages. It's underneath all of them. So there's our new fib for Microsoft. Looking rough. Golden pocket right now between 395 and 385. If it doesn't hold, 375 is my level of bounce at the 786 Sniper's Alley level. Chase that low. Run the puts. Run the calls and scare them away. Try to get them to go shorter. We'll see. Meta, big slowdown continues. It did throw a green candle, but I'm not convinced yet. It's still not quite oversold. Nvidia, she tried bouncing back today. Back into the 50 moving average though. Kind of think she's pinned for the short term unless it gets a big volume push, but then it's got resistance to deal with. So I think there's some sideways in here. Palantir, big push down. Running the lows here. We'll see. Ms. Kelly Slade says, supposedly we have a deal with Iran. Yeah, I totally don't agree with anything I see on news. They have an agreement. They don't have an agreement. They have an agreement. They don't have an agreement. Whatever. And I don't think any of those catalysts are going to make anything go nuts. I think it's all drummed up emotions, and that's what people think's going to happen. But the news doesn't move the charts. The charts kind of report the flow of money, and then the news reports the charts. It's kind of the other way around. It's not charts reporting. It's not like you think. It's not, oh my God, the news happened, so the charts went down. No, it's the other way around. The charts moved, then the news reports that. Then they tie it in with it. Charts are up on blah, blah, blah. No, charts are up. You're adding in the last part and making it subjective. How about just say chart is up? It's hard. I know that. It's not easy to get used to. It was a very big change for me. But once I got the hold of that, once I broke myself of the silly thinking, everything changed for me. It was a hard habit to break, but it changed everything for me. So, very, very constructive stream today. We went over a lot. We got Bitcoin, a lot of different stocks we went through. We went through XRP, SpaceX. I recorded them so that I could post them up. We're going to start a new section in the channel tomorrow for SpaceX specifically. If you're not in there, bro, why not? Come hang out. It is not quite free. Hold on. There we go. WAP.com/team786 for the cost of less than one Starbucks coffee a month. And the first month's free. If you don't like it, you can leave after the first month and walk away. No big deal. We chart all day, every day. Everything I just talked about has its own section in Discord. We try not to miss this stuff. We try to be ahead of it. And more often than not, we are ahead of this stuff. So I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. You guys are awesome. I should be dead or in jail, but I'm right here hanging out with you guys. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to make the most of it. I'll see you guys on the next stream on Tuesday. Y'all be good. I'm out. Sky's the limit. Peace.